Join us as Angie Shilliday tours us around ATCO's Veterans Village in Calgary, Alberta, to learn more about this innovative housing model aimed at supporting previously homeless veterans in their transition to more mainstream housing.
My name is Angie Shilliday. I'm the Director of Operations for Homes for Heroes across Canada, and I'd love to take you on a tour. So basically up here are two caseworkers' offices. So this is where the veterans will meet with their caseworkers. Sometimes they work with both, sometimes they work with just one, but all the magic happens in there. So I don't know if you want to look out across the village. So what we have is 15 tiny homes. Every veteran here rents their own individual unit. They are fully stocked, full bathroom, one bedroom, made for a single person, 13 regular units and 2 accessible units. So we're just going to go into our resource center, and what we use this for is our community gatherings for any group interactions, whether we're doing cooking lessons, whether we're doing meditation, what have you. And also the veterans will also meet in here on their own if they're going to watch a hockey game or just to talk, because the units are fairly small and it's just a more comfortable space. It is their space, and as well in here they have a shared washer and dryer. That's the only thing that they don't have in each individual unit. So come on in. So this place, sometimes you'll find it very busy and you can't move, and then other times like now we have a couple of our residents utilizing the kitchen and hanging out. This is their space. It's open I think from 6 to 11 p.m. We like to try to regulate the hours because a lot of times we'll be up all night long, and we're just trying to work on having a reasonable sleep pattern and what have you. But this is open to them all year round, and it's used quite well, as you can see. Here's a kitchen that once a week one of our volunteers comes, does some cooking and what have you, but actually our one resident that's sitting right here, yesterday morning, he got up bright and early and cooked a lovely soup for the entire village. We also stock this area with food from our Veterans Food Bank or the Veterans Association Food Bank. All of our residents can get their food weekly, bi-weekly from one of the 2 food banks, but they also will help supply food just so we have it on hand at any given time. And a quick bathroom, and we have one washer and dryer. It might sound very limiting, but 15, right now we only have male residents. They figure it out. Like, we have not even had an incident sharing this, so cross your fingers, it remains that way. Yeah.
And Angie, is it mostly male residents that you go?
Mostly. My last female resident moved out. Calgary is the only place that I don't currently have female residents, but yes, typically it's males. So we often get donations from various organizations, corporations. This telescope was donated to us from Costco, so they can go out. As you see, we have a really nice courtyard. We encourage, maybe not so much in the cold weather, but we encourage during nice weather, barbecues and what have you. At night, they can go out, check out the stars. I haven't used it myself, but we do get all these wonderful donations from various organizations, so we're very fortunate.
Thank you guys for
Okay. Thanks. Okay, and like I said, we do quite often have barbecues. I would say at least once a week during the summer, say parties out here, celebrations, birthdays, what have you. Residents are allowed to use the barbecue at their leisure. We have a fire pit down here for them to use. I mean, it is their home and their property. Given this loud neighborhood, we are in a very, very busy residential area where lots of theft and what have you does occur. But if you think about, we have 15 veterans here that are very, very hypervigilant and aware. So our stuff stays here. Yeah, we're pretty good that we've been able to hold on to everything. So, and they watch out, like this is their home. So as you can see here, these are our 2 accessible units. Calgary is unique as it was our first village, and so we have 15 units. Edmonton and Kingston have 20 units. In Edmonton, we still have 2 accessible. Kingston, we are finding the need for more, so we have 4 accessible units. Moving on from there, we're looking to build in Winnipeg and London, which will be opening in 2026, and 25 units there. So, yeah, I don't think we'll get much bigger because we really do find that this is a community and that is what works for us. Anything bigger, I think you'd lose that sense of community, and also to our staff, very intimate, very much a part of our residents' lives. And the bigger it gets, I think we'll lose that. So I think we're going to cap at 25, but that's where we're at now.
So Calgary here, there's 15 units?
15.
So between 15 and 25 is kind of your optimal scale?
Right, right. So when Dave Howard first had a vision to build this, it was a vision, thinking it was probably going to be a one-off, and he's provided his civil duty and honored his family member with this, and this village took off from the start, and he thought, I can't just do one, there's a need for this. And so it was just learning on top of learning, and now we will expand across Canada just from a single village vision. So every home in all of our villages has a plaque here, and we call these honor plaques. And so every home is dedicated to a fallen soldier. What I love about these plaques is not only are we honoring a soldier that has died during service, that we invite their families to nominate, their families to visit, their families to come be part of our community. It's very touching, very rewarding when a family member comes for coffee because they come to visit their plaque. So we're very proud of this aspect. Wish you would have been here in the summer. This is a big aspect of what we call community. So this is our community garden, and the residents, I would say, maybe arm wrestle over who gets which plot of land and who gets to water today. But it is definitely a community project. They grew so many vegetables that even having everybody eating daily, doing our weekly lunches, we were feeding other communities, associations and stuff too. So we just had such an abundance. And I think why it grew so much, it was like all the love and attention and care put in by this community. So it really, I joke because they'd fight over who does what. It was just, they took so much pride in that project that we've incorporated that into every community that we're building now. Yeah, it's phenomenal. One of our residents worked for the city post-service in their landscaping, so he knows everything. So yeah, we're really fortunate. Our veterans have different backgrounds, all of them, and so we utilize their skills and they can teach each other their skills too. So it's been great. Further from that, I have a resident that is a carpenter, handyman, and so sometimes things need repair around here and they'll jump to it and help. And even if they don't know, they're in there wanting to help because this is their home.
How long are people intended to stay? Is it long-term, interim housing?
No, we're short-term. I like to say we're a program before housing. And why I say that, I have 2 full-time caseworkers on staff, and they work with each individual resident for whatever needs they have to integrate back into civilian life, but to find something more permanent housing. get their funding, get their health, get everything in order. And once they're ready, we say then they graduate. Anywhere from 3-4 months to, we've had residents up to 4 years. And why I say that, and sad, some residents are harder to relocate based on demographics, their health conditions, numerous reasons, economy, what have you. When we take them in here, we're committed to helping them how they need to be helped. And if that takes 4 years, we like to say a year, because it gives us a baseline to work with, but it's not always a year. We do what we can. As these tiny homes, 300 square feet approximately, so not a lot of room for storage, which is fine, because with our research, our homeless people have had more issue with hoarding and what have you, or conversely, if they come to us with the clothing on their back, and if they were, imagine going into a 1,200 square foot space and nothing to put in there, that's also psychologically damaging too. So 300 square feet has been perfect for that reason. Storage truly is limited to back here for 15 units. I don't know what this is, 10 by 10, 8 by 8 maybe 8 by 8. And so in here is all their gardening. They lock their bikes in here. This is for residents. And then the second storage, we literally built that with help of one of our corporate sponsors this year. And that is storage for Homes for Heroes. So inside there we have extra bedding, we have dishes, various things. I'd like to take you into one of our units, and you came on a good time, because our units are very rarely empty. The reason it's empty, we are the 12th now, so at the beginning of this month, our resident moved out, and sometimes there's more cleanup or repairs that need to be done in each unit. We like to have the unit almost as new as possible when someone moves in. It's about dignity and respect, and we want it that way. We will be having someone move in very shortly, so today was a good day to come. So come on in. So as you can see, it's pretty, oh man, it's pretty minimal, but it has absolutely everything that someone would need. What we have here is a Murphy bed, which great concept for a first time, but what we learned from this with our demographic is that sometimes the bed would stay down, they wouldn't get up and what have you, and we are really encouraging them to have schedule and have some pride and make your bed, put your bed away, and it just wasn't conducive to even having another person in if your bed is down. So from here on, we've done a separate bedroom.
Oh, it's great that there's a skylight.
Oh yeah, so the bathroom is full. It does have a full tub, shower. I didn't know males loved baths so much. So we've just kept the bathtubs going throughout, except obviously in the accessible units, it's a walk-in shower. So we have a flat rate of $600 a month, regardless of city, of unit, what have you, 600 plus 90. Quite typically, utilities run closer to $300 a month. Wintertime can be even more, especially in colder areas. We do have electric baseboards and again learning, but still it stays at 90. $600, we just want to keep the flat rate at $600. For something like this in this area, you're looking about $1,300 plus utilities.
Well below market rate.
Oh,
yeah.
Well below. As far as how they pay, we don't discriminate based on their income. So if a veteran is homeless or living rough and is challenged with financial stresses and doesn't even have an income, we still will take them in. Our caseworkers can and will work with them to find where they are actually eligible for finances. So that comes secondary kind of for us, and we'll also bring in residents that make well above but don't know how to manage the money they have. So if they're getting a significant pension from Veterans Affairs, or they've been given disability or income replacement and it's still above, it doesn't mean that they're financially responsible. And so that's part of what I say, we're a program first. So we'll bring them in, work with them, and then a lot of times they're out of here. Anyone that makes more money or has access to more finances is usually out of here quicker because it's easier for them to find a more permanent situation. So at each village, I have 2 staff on site, and we call them caseworkers. So they have a variety of educational backgrounds and or experience. Usually a registered social worker. At each village, our caseworkers meet via Zoom once a week. They often talk more than once a day, all of them, because it's shared experience. We are a team, even though we're across cities. So what our caseworkers provide, first of all, when we do an intake, we verify that the resident or future resident is a veteran through Veterans Affairs Canada, that they have a service number, and that they indeed are a veteran. From there, we find out if they have a caseworker at Veterans Affairs, because each veteran should have their own caseworker to help them. I would say maybe 50% of them actually have a caseworker, even have an account set up through Veterans Affairs. A lot of our residents don't even identify as a veteran. They've been living rough or couch surfing and what have you, for whatever reason, not wanting to go to the government for various reasons, but they get to a point where they come here and we assure them that we're here to help, and a veteran is something to be proud of. And because you are a veteran and have served our country now needs to take care of you. And so our caseworkers work very closely with Veterans Affairs Canada, working on disability claims, working on getting them some form of income, whether it's a pension, whether if they were injured, it's an income replacement benefit if they're not able to. They work very well doing these very complicated forms that I think scares some people off from even doing the paperwork. And so our caseworkers work very well with Veterans Affairs, who work very well with us. So work with all the local food banks, the shelters. We have local doctors, dentists. We'll take them for their hearing tests. You name it, if they don't have a bank account, set them up with a bank account, get them their ID. Our caseworkers will facilitate financial support counseling through one of our bank partners to help them with financial literacy. There's food, clothing, you name it. There's 2 things that I like to touch on that I'm very proud of what we do is family mediation. So a lot of our veterans have not spoken to their family members, or their family members haven't spoken to them, whatever the case. Once our residents start to feel a little more confident back on their feet, and as they gain that confidence, then they're either wanting to reach out to their family or willing to accept their family into their lives. So that's a very rewarding part of our caseworkers. And then further too, some of our residents come with addictions and mental health issues, and for the safety of the village, we try to limit active addiction, and I'm talking serious addictions like fentanyl and meth. But quite often our residents come with some form of functioning addiction. So they come with that or mental health challenges. We have to consider our residents were in the military, so a lot of PTSD and what have you. So we're working with that population, gaining trust and having them trust themselves and trust the world around them.
You're viewing the housing as short-term, but in a different kind of model, a different sort of project. Could this be longer-term
100%.
housing? Yeah.
100%. This, as I had said, we had residents here for 4 years. They don't want to leave. When we were upstairs, there's a former resident here working with our caseworker. He's living with his son. He's been living with his son on his own for the last 4 months. And he's back here because he needs help with his paperwork. And we don't ever lose any of our residents. They're always welcome back. Sometimes it's a bigger workload for the caseworkers, but they know what they signed up for when they came, and they're always happy to help. To live here permanently, I'd move in if I can. If I could get a service number, I would be happy to live here. It has everything that you need. Good friendships are made here. And further, I don't know, they have support. And they have their own community center. It's the best of every world here. You know, the downside for them living here is we do have married members here. So their wives are living elsewhere, or we have grandparents and their grandchildren are here on the weekends and what have you, but it's single living only. So it works very well. It would work very well long term for somebody living single. But if they want to reintegrate into their family, then that is where it becomes difficult.
Do you have any thoughts on like the national housing strategy or CMHC, any of the roles that government could play to facilitate and support these types of initiatives?
Well, in speaking with other organizations and what have you, we all know that it works. It's proven. Every day we see how this works. And we don't need these large homes. 300 square feet is more than enough to accommodate a single person's needs. So perhaps, I don't know how much larger for 2 people or a family. Not everybody needs a big mansion. And so allowing and making it easier to build these communities, to acknowledge that these communities, number one, are necessary. And I think, you know, we're always selling the big dream, but you know what? That big dream is very lonely. This, like I said, is a community. And when you're building a smaller home, but in a community, your community is an extension of your home. So I guess I shouldn't really speak about what the government can do other than recognize how well these work and make the process of building easier and more welcoming, open it up to larger communities, and not take as long to approve. Because we work with 3 levels of government, and the time it takes, sometimes the elections, and then you're re-meeting people and re-explaining what you're doing. And I think especially going back in the first stages before we were a proven concept that works, most communities, especially communities that have a high veteran population, are very happy to support it, but there's always still that bureaucracy and the paperwork and the filings and that's with anything. But one-on-one in speaking with government officials and what have you, they've been very supportive. Actually, they are reaching out to us and saying, when are you going to have one in our community? So there is the support. It's just the process that I think is the thing that's holding these types of communities back.
How has the village been received by its surrounding neighbors?
So that's a very good question. As I said, we are in a very densely populated area. I would say a lower income area. We do many events with our community. I had school come yesterday and deliver handwritten letters to all of our residents. I don't have a large place for huge family gatherings to sit and eat dinner. So we have an open invitation at the community center, which is very large, has a kitchen. We often have our community, so Homes for Heroes, at the community center having dinners there with our veterans extended family. So we've had upwards of 70 people in the community center. The president of the community center is a very welcome visitor here at all times. He is wonderful, supportive, couldn't ask for anything better. Because we're very visible, we look very different, we often get donations, and donations for 50 people, well, we have 15, and we commonly ask them, would you mind if we redonate this? And we do. Close by, we donate to a women's center, we donate to the children's program. This community is very supportive of each other.
When we arrived, we also noticed a sign to a public library. Is there a library close by as well?
Yeah, everything is close by. This is a kind of older neighborhood. I have to laugh because in the 80s I went to high school here, so I'm back in my old neighborhood. But there's so many amenities around. There's a bus stop out front, on the side, so busing anywhere is, but you can walk. It's very walkable.
Is there like a centralized list? For
Right.
veterans,
So no. So how people find out about us is word of mouth. So we have so many synergistic organizations that support veterans, and we all really try hard to work together. It's important. It takes a village to raise a village, and it's usually by referral, or if we have someone come to, say they come to us, we don't say, no, we don't have any room, and hang up. We're on the phone, we're trying to get their information, calling out to see where we can find them either temporary housing or setting them up with an organization that can support, if they are already housed, support financially, support whatever supports they need if we don't have the housing. And quite often the other organizations are doing the same. So I think it's really important that, there's $1 out there, and if we're all fighting for the same dollar, nobody wins. We realize there's $1 out there, and if we all work together, we're all utilizing that same dollar. And I truly, since I've been here, I really feel that the community of support for veterans are really trying to come together and realize that we're all here doing the same thing. We all just have a little bit of a different niche, but all our veterans have different needs too, so we can accommodate them somehow, somewhere. Mm-hmm.